we will move on to the intrinsic parts whereby we will do the analysis and we will see spatial analysis and stuff. So before we jump on to those things, let me cover some of the small topics, which is going to help you guys. So, and before we jump on there, let's look at some of the easy stuffs. So the other day we had seen the interface of Tableau, right? So we have seen how Tableau works and how we add data, how we edit connections, how we remove stuffs, all these things we have seen, right? So and we have also seen, like, how we are dragging in another table, and when we drag in another table, we can do the joins. So we had to take a hard stop at joins, but then uh, mm, no, I guess we had talked about joins the other day, but then there's no harm in reiterating once. So the other day we had stopped at joins, and we have seen what is an inner join, left
Hey,
join, right. So now the next part of Tableau, like, is before we are, like, now that we know how to ingest data, but the things that I missed the other day in ingesting data, I want to cover that, because that day I didn't have this thing, um, this connection. But now that I have, let me show you the all the options that Tableau provides us with. Tableau desktop basically provides us with, because Tableau public will restrict some of the things that I didn't want you guys to be, like, to restrict anything, or to not see anything, or to miss anything. So I got a Tableau free license for myself, so that this training can be done in a smoother manner. So yeah, so these options were not there in Tableau Public. So first is Tableau Server that we have seen. Tableau Server is basically to connect your data, to connect yourself to a server in which the data resides, or you want to go and publish your dashboards too. So anything can be done. So like, while we will read next about the live connection and extract connection. While we talk about that, we will now see that whenever we are creating any extract, so a live connection and extract connection is the next topic that I'll take you through. But then, just to give you a hint, so that this is easy to digest, that is, live connection, as you all know, it's basically live data, right? It can be an Excel, a CSV, a G sheet, anything, whatever is live. And then when you make changes to your live connection, definitely the live things, live data basically gets triggered, and it shows up. But then when you have an extract is nothing but a snapshot of your data, which you get. So when we talk of Tableau server, in the Tableau server itself, you can go, like, you have a data source. Say the data source is coming through SQL, coming through Excel, coming through Azure, Blob, anything. So what you can do is you can take that data source, and you can make an extract of that data source. Okay, so that's how you publish your data source into Tableau. So what happens is, the data, the entire data set, the raw data, which might have been coming from, which might have been coming from SQL, or S3 bucket, or anything. So what the challenge is, basically nothing but, why do we do that? Because an SQL connection, or a live connection, SQL live connection, if it is data heavy, if it is, like, clusters of data together, if you have some kind of an SQL, which is, say, forget clusters of data, if you have, say, 3 to 4 years ka extensive data, say paid search data, or a display data, or a analytics data, what happens is, this what happens is this becomes very difficult when you connect a SQL Server live connection, because what happens once you have this data, if you go and make any changes, like you just click on something to sort your data, maybe what happens, it goes back to the SQL Server, it goes through the entire line of data that is there in the table, in the SQL table, and then it lets you sort. So it's basically nothing but very time consuming. So what we do is we go ahead and create extracts in server itself, which basically which basically avoids creating of an extract in your local system. So I'll show you how to create an extract now. But the local, but a local extract basically has dependency on the machine of the user, because the extract gets created in your local machine, and whenever you are publishing your dashboard, you need to you know put that extract as well together, because the dashboard is referring to this same extract. Now, what is the advantage of SQL Server? The advantage of SQL Server is what I'm doing is I'm first publishing my data source that is there. Now, what happens? SQL Server through an empty extract. We will talk about. I'll teach you how to create empty extract in this training. That is very useful and very helpful. Believe me, you will love it. So so an empty extract, and then what it does is it pushes the entire data to Tableau Server. So Tableau Server will always, always see it as that SQL Server which is pushing the entire data. So for the Tableau Server, the SQL Server is a live connection, but for you it is an extract from where you are referring, and server definitely has a as a very minimal latency, which lets you create the dashboard in the front, and that is helpful for you to curb loading time as well. So that's how Tableau Server work. Like that's how Tableau Server works. But apart from that, Excel, JSON, PDF, etc., 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 and you can see in the server itself, if you do more, how many options you have over here. So you can even get data from your PowerPoint, MongoDB, Oracle, LLQA, Spark SQL, COBOL. So you have a plethora of options in front of you, which will let you work towards it. So this option is not available in Tableau Public. The other day I couldn't show you, but I wanted to show you how many types of things. So now let's connect to data through an Excel maybe, so that it's easy for us. So once you have connected your data, I'm connecting an Excel. So it gives me all the tabs that I have. So let me drag this over here. And once I drag it, I see that these things are coming. So what is a live and what is an extract? So this is basically live data, right? So I have connected my Excel over there, and if I make changes to my Excel, which I'll show you through G Sheet, because in my machine I don't have a, like, my Windows has expired, my Office has expired, so it is not letting me edit the Excel. But what happens technically is, if I make change to my Excel and if I do a refresh over here, like over here, if I refresh the data source, what happens is this gets updated automatically, because this is live. Okay, so let me just try it with, I'll just try it with my Google Sheet, and I'll create a new one and see if it is giving me, because Google Sheet often gives me a latency. That is where it is very difficult to make people understand. So this is the file that I have created, and I connected to Tableau over here, right? So just to see that how live connection works, let me just try it with this. Say I'll take March 19 and I'll copy this and I paste it over here. Let me make it as March 31st, 2022. Let the name be Ramesh. CST 100. Okay. So I made these changes, I saved it. So this row is not there currently, right? When I see this row is currently not there. So I made this change and let me close this and go back to Tableau. And if I go to my data and refresh data source, so I see that Ramesh is added, right? Because it is a live connection and I made change to the live data set. So the raw data set or the live connection data set, whatever was there, I made a change. And when I refresh, what happens is I see that one more row has come up, which was not there. And this is how live works. Okay. How does an extract work? Let me go back to my previous thing. I was in orders, right? So an extract works like this. So this is your live connection. You go to extract, and once you click on this sheet now, this will ask you for this thing whereby orders, sample superstore, and it will ask for like how do you want to save it? You want to save it as a Tableau data extract. So data extract basically. Mm-mm. So data extract basically will be a snapshot of this entire data. Okay. So so once you do like you do an extract, say suppose this is an extract and I want to create an extract, and what I do is in my desktop I go ahead and I save the extract. So now this is in the form of an extract that it is there. So now if you go and refresh your data source over here, what will happen is it won't help you because now it is not a live connection. So what you need to do is you need to, this is your extract. One more thing. How will you understand that your data, your connection is a live or an extract? You will see that there is, when it is live connection, you go to this sheet, you will see that there is one cylinder over here in data. Okay. Are you with me?
Yeah, Vinod.
Yeah. So once you are in live, you will see that there is one cylinder over here. But as soon as you go and create an extract and you will see there are two cylinders. Okay. That's one more recognizing factor of an extract as well. So now you have made an extract, and now say suppose you go to your sheet and you make changes. So what will happen if you go and do a data refresh? It won't be refreshing because now it is a snapshot. Now this snapshot needs to be updated. So for that, what you need to do is you need to go to data, you need to right click, you will see extract, and from here you need to do a refresh. So that will be refreshing your extracts. Okay, so a live connection, you can go and very well go to the data and refresh the data source. But once you have created an extract, you need to go and refresh the extract for it to fetch data from the live connection and also add to the snapshot. Okay, so so that's how it works. Also, one more thing, when we are here and when I have this data set in front of me, so if I go over here and if I want to like my data looks like this, right? I have data in a certain date in a certain format. I have customer, I have sales. So if I put date into the row, Okay, I had worked on this earlier. That's why it is showing me like this. But if you generally put this, what will happen is it will take this date in a certain way, which won't be, which is not like how you desire it to be. So if you want to make any changes, you can go and make changes to the date itself, so that it basically is changed, or you want to transform it to some other way. You can go and do that as well. So let me show you an example. So once you want to, so first thing is, if your data has come in the form of a string, I guess. Oh, okay, okay. Life is easy for me. So when I see the types of data, what we see is we always have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, but not 7, because date and time and number and decimal and whole is the same thing. So see, what happens is that it has read my data source. So this data source thing, it has read the data source date as a string. If I go and if I check the data type, I see it is a string. So I don't want it as a string. I want it as a date. Okay. So now see, your data is coming like this, but in my data source, it was not the way, not this way that I want, but I want to change it to some other format. So what I'll do is I'll go to more, I'll click on date basically, and I'll go to more, and I'll see week number, weekday. I'll do a custom over here. So when I do the custom, it gives me an option of extra exact date. And when you click on here, you will get all the options which are there. And from here, you can choose month, day, and year. And you can do an OK. Okay. So now you see it's a date, and it is showing you the entire values. When I'm in data types, let me go back to the original data set where we started off from. Let me remove this thing. Okay, now, we talked about the dataset types, right? So when we talk about dataset types, there are always, what I have seen is the main dataset types are number, string, date, geographic, Boolean, and then date and time. So how will you recognize it? For recognizing it, Tableau has not only given in writing, excuse me, but it has also given icons. Okay, so you will see that some of the columns will have ABC above it. So that does mean that these are strings. These are strings or text columns. Okay, wherever you see a hash, that means that it is a number. It's a numerical value. See, wherever we have hashes, those are profit, quantity, row IDs. Row IDs is not to be considered. It's a hash because it's a number, but then it's a blue hash. Why a blue hash? Blue hash basically is the dimension. It's a dimensional qualifier because it is not quantitative. It is a dimension. It's a qualitative metric. Then orders. These are summable, right? So this has a green hash above it. So wherever you see hashes, those are basically measurements. Then you see a calendar icon over here. So this calendar icon is nothing but dates. So we are sorted with dates as well. We understand that these are dates which are there in the data, order date. And then you see some of the icons with a globe symbol. So a globe symbol means a geographic data. Okay. So you will see postal code, country, region, city. These are having the globes, which basically means these are geographic areas which are denoted by a globe. Okay, so that's it. And then then there are then when we are over here, and we are changing it, so we can very well you know go to change data type, and we can see that there are boolean and spatial. Spatial I'll take up later. We'll see what is spatial analysis. But then there is boolean as well. Boolean is nothing but true and false. We will see boolean in when we are in parameters and we are working on something. We will see what is a live example of boolean. But over here, the intention was to see that, like, I have the option of customizing my date as per I want, as I want, like, it to be. And I can very well have my sales data over here with the customer names. So going back to the live and extract, I'm pretty sure now you have understood what is a live connection and what is an extract, and how our live connections dealt with, and how our extracts dealt with, and how do we refresh the data, and how do we refresh data in an extract, right? So we will go and we will refresh, and then when we are in an extract, we will be doing the other way. Okay, so that's about live and extract and data types. So let's understand the different types of views that a data can be viewed in form of. So say suppose in this sheet, let me let me pull the data. So I have seen that while I was connecting this orders table. So while I was collecting this orders table, I have seen that that I pull it and I bring it over here. But the other way of looking at data is, if you have a table, just go to this icon over here and you see view data coming up. So if you just click it, what will happen is you will have an entire set of the entire data you can see over here in the view. Why do we want to see a view? Like like it's like this, that, say suppose I'm in my new workbook and I'm in my new workbook and I want to remove this. So before I drag my table in, I have an option to view the data. So once, because things get updated on a regular basis for a table, right? So you can view your data over here to see that, for a certain date, maybe it is added or not, everything looks fine to you or not. You want to do a first level QA so that you can view the entire data, and then you go ahead and pull it in the workspace. Okay, so over here, when I pull the data, oh, it's in a live. So over here, when I pull the data, what I see is it shows me 100 rows, right? So if for the orders, what I see is it shows me 100 rows. Now I don't want to see 100 rows, but I want to see 10 rows. So what you do is you go over here and you put it as 10, and now you will see that you see only 10 rows of data for your QA purposes. Now say suppose I put, say, 60,000 rows over here. But see, you'll see it will always give me 10,000 only, because 10,000 rows of data is present in the workspace in the raw data. And when you see 10,000, you cannot do the you cannot do 10 you cannot put, like, random numbers and get blank spaces or something. You cannot put 90,000 as a number. You can put 90,000 as a number, but what it will do is it will show you the maximum number of rows that are present in the data set. Okay, so yeah, so the next thing is, when you don't want to see all the columns in your data, what you can do is, say suppose ship mode is something which is not required for you. So you can right click on ship mode and you can hide this column. Okay, so you see ship mode is no more present in here. Or you can go over here and you can customer ID and you can go and hide the data set. Okay, so you can do these things, and once you do that, you can click on settings, and once you do show hidden fields, what it does is it shows you the hidden fields which are there in your data. And in case you want to uh, you know uh, bring them back, what you can do is you can go over here and you can do an unhide, and you will see your data not hidden anymore, right? So that's how it works. Now let's come to a very small topic that is small but important, I'll say, because these are some of the small nook and corners where we need to venture once we are in there. So that so that when we are doing those grave things, we don't need to worry about all these stuffs. So what we have now is the column name. So we will do column formatting, whereby we will see how to rename a column. So that is pretty easy. So you can go and you can rename a column in your data by, say, order ID. You can put it as OID. Order date, you can name it as O date, maybe like this. Somehow you can rename your names. Now you can ask, how can I get them back? Now either you can double click over here and you can get them back, or you can go over here and you see reset name. So you can go and reset the names so that the columns will have their original names which were there. Okay. So now say suppose you have this column over here whereby 10,000 is really a number which now you, before going to the next step over here itself, you want to see that what is that ship mode column contains. So what you can do is you can go over here and you can copy values from the column itself. And then I don't have an Excel, so in the G sheet itself. So if you just go over here and you do a Control V, what happens is the column gets copied, right? The entire column is copied in here, and you can put a filter and you can check what are the ship modes present. Now, say suppose you don't need the entire column, but you want to, like, copy these four and see something, just don't consider it to be names of what Filena Ober, but just consider that you need four cells. So in that case as well, if you Control C and Control V, what happens is you get these four things. But the best part of Tableau is, which doesn't happen in Excel, that is, it recognizes the column name. I didn't select the column name, but I've copied it from this column name, right? So it recognizes the column name and it throws up the column name over here, right? So that makes my life a bit more easy, and I also have the data with me. Okay, so that's how you do the thing. And then if you want to copy the entire table for yourself, so you can go and put a oops, control A, control C, and then you can go to your sheet and you can press a control V, which basically copies your entire thing and pastes it. It's taking time because it's a sheet. So yeah, that's how. So that copies the entire sheet for you. So you can do that as well. One, if you want to, copy your entire record and you want to, paste it somewhere and you want to do a scrutiny before you go to the next step. Okay. Then comes one more topic, which is called, splitting the data. So say suppose you have, say ship mode, and you want to split the data into, so the content of the column, you want to split it into two halves. So how will you do that? What you will do is you will go to the column drop down, go to the drop down, you click it, and then you see an option called split, right? So you can go and split it. So it has gone to the last, but if you see the ship mode, it had standard class, first class, and all those things. So what happens is standard and class is given a certain level of delimit because they are two words which had a space in between, and that's very evident that you want, if you want to split these two, the space becomes the delimiting factor, and it considered the same, and it what it did is it split your columns into two halves, right? So now you will say that, okay, now you will say that, now you'll say that, dude, if that is the case, then you know how will I do any kind of other split, because there may be delimiters already defined in there. So say suppose customer ID, where is customer? So, customer ID. Customer ID is DP hyphen and then the number, right? So over here, when we want to split, what we will do is we will go over here and we will, we will click on custom split. So see, custom split basically is where you have to define the delimiting factor. Over here, the delimiting factor is hyphen and split off first. Okay, so when I click OK, what has happened? You see, DP, PO, PO, etc. MB. These were here, right? DP, PO, PO, MB. Know? So these like when I have declared the delimiter and when I've selected OK, if you remember what the thing was in custom split, it was first. So first means to the left of the delimiter. So whatever is there in the left of the delimiter, it has extracted the left of the delimiter things and it has given you the data. Now, if you want to extract the later half of the delimiter, you can put a hyphen, and then because that is your delimiter, and then you can go and change the first to last. And if you check OK, didn't I do that?
They are not put the hyphen. You have not put the hyphen. For that reason, it is not showing anything.
Oh, okay. Good catch, good catch. Sorry. Yeah. Oh, I thought I had put the hyphen. Sorry. Yeah, so you see, it has given you the next set of splits as well. Any doubts, guys? Any doubts that you see as of now? Not understanding, going too fast? No, right? Pretty simple. Great. Perfect. Now that we have covered that, let's cover another topic which has a few options as well. That is sorting. Sorting of data is pretty useful. Not only useful but pretty much needed at times. And Tableau provides us with loads of options to do that as well. So what do we have in sorting, whereby we can sort my columns, I can sort my records, and I can also sort my tables. Okay, so how do we do that? So I can sort all three of them, and let's see how it works. So now that we have got the source uh, and if you see, once you connect your data, you will see that in whatever order your data source has, Tableau also has the order in the same format, the columns in the same order in Tableau as well. So what I mean is, in Excel, whatever is the uh, is the position of your columns, it will be exactly the same while it is in Tableau. Now it is not sorted, right? So when we see that it is not sorted, what we will do is, what we can do is, we can go and see if we can sort it in an ascending or descending manner. Okay, so if we go and put check this settings button, we will see that it is showing me as data source order, right? So data source order, as in however the data source order is, that way the columns are positioned. Now if I do an A to Z ascending, once I do an A to Z ascending, check the column name. Okay, so this is not for the fields, okay? This is just for the column names that I'm showing. So once you click on A to Z ascending, you see the names have been, see, first comes C, D, O, P, right? P, Q, R, S. So it is A to Z ascending. This is sorted alpha, by the sequence of alphabet. So by the, this is only for the column names, minded. This is not for the end thing. This for the fields or the contents of the fields, right? So we will see that this is sorted. Or if you want a descending, you can go from a Z to A descending, and you will see that it's sorted as a Z to A ascending. So S R Q P, like that it is coming. Okay. Say now say suppose that's my thing, and now I have, like, I have this, like, data source order, and then I have the people column over here, and we have seen, right, that people column comes in. People, once we are doing it, we will see that people columns are coming in. Okay, now that, okay, so once we have connected the people thing, it is connected in the form of join. So what you will find is, you will find that, within the orders, this is my orders section, right? Within my orders section, while you go, you will find people coming up, and then again orders, like, columns from orders coming up, and then in between it is coming as people, and then again orders and stuff. So what will you do? So then comes the next two options. So A to Z ascending per day per table, and Z to A descending per table. So when you say per table, that does mean that please sort my A to Z ascending from the first table and then put the second table in the same hierarchy. So if you do that, you will see that, your orders are selected, all the things pertaining to orders come in one place, and then your people table dimensions are coming up. Okay, same way it's like Z to A as well. Okay, so that's basically how it works. Now look, now very simple is how to do an ascending and descending in your fields. Now say suppose you want to now say suppose you want to row ID simple. You want to have your row IDs in the ascending manner. So just take your cursor over here in the rows and you will see an icon coming up. So you can just click on that icon and this is ascending. Once you click over here, it is descending order. Okay. So that's how what we have learned is how to sort columns. Uh, how to sort columns, like when you have one table, and once you have two tables, how to sort columns. Like when you have one table, you will sort columns based on the first two options, and when you have two tables interconnected, you will be sorting your data using the next two, that is per table uh, ascending or descending stuffs. And also what we have learned is how to do an ascending and descending on your fields as well. So yeah, so that covers the sorting part of the data. Next, what we will do is filters in Tableau.